turn of the 19th century, it was clear that the Americans' hunger for territory had not been sated. The Louisiana Purchase, which saw a massive stretch of land sold by the French to the United States, all but confirmed that further ingress into native inhabited lands was inevitable. In the aftermath of their victory in the Northwest Indian War, over 600,000 American pioneers would settle in the newly established states of Kentucky and Ohio, as well as the territory of Indiana, land once dominated by native tribes. Disunited and outnumbered, the natives of the frontier were direly outmatched. Despite this, Tecumseh never gave up his grand ambitions to retake native territories. As fate would have it, it would actually be his brother who would spark the movement that would snowball into the creation of his great confederacy. This man was Lalawethika, meaning he who makes a loud noise. He had always been the black sheep of the family, having never become a great warrior like his brothers. A freak accident had taken out his eye when he was young, and he spent the majority of his youth as a perpetually drunk good-for-nothing. In the year 1805, everything changed. One day, Lalawethika was smoking in his wigwam when suddenly his body seized up and he fell into a trance. His stupor was so deep that those around him thought he had died, yet soon he awoke as a changed man. Lalawethika told everyone that he had received a vision from the Great Spirit, in which he had seen his people led onto a path of doom, and was now convinced that the Great Spirit had sent him on a mission to purify native culture for their salvation. He took on a new name, Tenskwatawa, the Open Door. In time, he became known to his people as the Prophet. The Prophet soon began spreading his teachings amongst the Shawnee. He preached that his people were the Great Spirit's original creations. In contrast, the white people were children of the evil spirit that grew from the scum of the great waters. As such, natives bore an innate responsibility to keep their way of life pure of colonial influence. To this endeavor, he denounced intermarriage between natives and whites, which had become commonplace in the last few decades. He spoke out against alcoholism and forbade the evils of drink. He renounced European clothing and other such innovations brought to his lands since first contact, mandating his followers wear the traditional garments of their people. In the winter of 1805, a familiar calamity struck the Old Northwest. Native communities were once more afflicted by an outbreak of smallpox, leaving many communities crippled or entirely depopulated. Disease had sadly become old news to the natives by this point, who often coped by blaming their misfortune on witches, who supposedly were sinister herbalists capable of brewing malicious potions and spreading illness. Thus, in the spring of 1806, the Prophet became a major ringleader in a witch hunt that spread across the Old Northwest, a hunt he used to further spread the influence of his religious movement. Tenskwatawa hounded down all those who denounced him and all who embraced the ways of the white man. Under his watch, Christian natives and chieftains friendly to the Americans were captured, tortured, and killed, all in the name of rooting allegedly evil witches out of native communities. The Prophet soon had a growing following, not just among the Shawnee, but many neighboring tribes as well. The growing unrest in the native Northwest began to make American settlers on the frontier uneasy. One such man was William Henry Harrison, governor of the Indiana Territory. He had fought in the Northwest Indian Wars a decade earlier, and a religious uprising centered around resisting colonialism was a threat to the settlers in his jurisdiction. Seeking to pacify the movement, Harrison denounced Tenskwatawa to the Delawares with conviction, saying, "Who is this pretended prophet who dares to speak in the name of the great Creator? Is he more wise or virtuous than you are yourselves, that he should convey to you the orders of your God?" To affirm his spiritual powers, the prophet told his followers of a day of black sun. He was correct. By accurately predicting a solar eclipse, Tenskwatawa had proven his power in the eyes of his followers. In 1808, the prophet joined forces with Tecumseh. Together, the two brothers founded a village upon the confluence of the Wabash and Tippecanoe rivers. The old chieftain, Little Turtle, who had fought at Fallen Timbers, warned Tecumseh that he was settling on the lands of the Miami, to which Tecumseh replied devoutly that he was settling on native lands. The brothers' village came to be known as Prophetstown, and would serve as the staging point for their pan-native resistance movement. In the following years, people from all over the Old Northwest filtered into Prophetstown, drawn to Tenskwatawa's teachings and Tecumseh's reputation as a warrior. The community grew quickly from a small village into a bustling multi-tribal township, a hub of Native American cultural and political activity. In the end, it was Tecumseh who assumed the ultimate chieftaincy of their budding community. Tecumseh soon set out from Prophetstown on a mission to convince the tribes of the Old Northwest that resistance, not assimilation, was the key to their survival, and
we are looking for Geronimo!
When I was young, the White-Eye came and wanted the land of my people. When their soldiers burnt our villages, we moved to the mountains. When they took our food, we ate thorns. When I took a wife, they killed her and my 2 little girls. But in our hearts, we never surrendered.
We are charged with bringing in the renegade Apache, Geronimo. We will accomplish this task. We will succeed. A lot of white eyes want to see Geronimo hanged for murder.
Not murder. War.
Because of confusion in the past, you will put your marks on one of the 2 papers here. You will sign the red paper, if you agree, which we hope that you do, and the black, if you don't.
So they will know who is a friend and who is not.
So they will know who to take rations from.
What is this?
Sir, this is not your agency. The council at Standing Rock is next week. You have no place here.
Do you not recognize who this man is?
I know. He is Sitting Bull. But I do not recognize him as having any more of voice than any other Indian here.
Hear me then, for one last time. They mean to take our land away from us. You may say they wish to give us land. This patch to you, this patch to you. But here is the truth. Each patch is for a man and all generations that follow him. And they know that this land cannot feed but one generation, not even so much as that.
All right, you had your say. Do not interrupt.
You teach our children the words of your God. Be fruitful and multiply. But it seems these words are not meant for the Indian. For what kind of man would take a wife and have children he cannot feed? No Indian man. Not a Lakota, not an Arikara, not a Crow. You would have us cut off our balls and end our race right here on a patch of land on which nothing can live, and that will not happen. I have spoken.
We did not put you on this land. Red Cloud surrendered. He made peace with the government. Have you forgotten the bloodshed that came before?
Sitting Bull, is a great leader. I believe this no matter that the whites see us men all as the same. But he did not sit with us in the council those many snows ago when our reservation was made. He did not sit with us in the next council when these borders that we were told were like marks in stone were moved. In the Black Hills, and our hunting lands were taken from us. Sitting Bull might have had his say, but such was his suspicion of the whites. Such was his pride. I say today, for all ears within hearing, that if Sitting Bull had spoken the way he speaks today, I would not have touched that pen. I will not touch your pen to your paper. I will not touch it to your red paper. I will not touch it to your black paper. The white man will not see my mark again on this paper for the rest of my days on this earth.